Good morning, night, I don't know what you want to call it. So, um, I don't have a specific agenda to talk about, but, so, I had an appointment today with my doctor at, 2:30, and they canceled it and won't see me, so, my one doctor said, I don't know anything about this. I've never heard about this disease. She worked with me for a while, and she's like, it's malpractice if I see you anymore because I don't know how to treat you. So she refused to be my doctor. So then I went to another doctor, and he's like, I've never heard about this before. I don't know anything about it. I'll give you some seizure meds, but after this, you have to go to a neurologist. So no doctors want to come by people with neurological conditions. They want us to go to neurologists only because they don't know how to treat us. They've never heard about this. They don't know how to medicate us. Then they don't know how to detox us off all these meds in the right way and how to work with us, right? The problem is there's a 2-year wait for a neurologist, so I'm still a year away. So after multiple doctors all Googling stuff to put me on, telling me I don't know anything about this, I've detoxed from everything except 2 of the meds, and actually one of them I did detox from, but I need a lot of drugs in my system for the other program to help me. So I had to start taking that again, even though it was fully detoxed now in my system, because if you don't have certain narcotics and certain things in your system, then the detox program won't help you at all. So you have no help from doctors. You have to be on either street drugs or certain controlled substances to have help with drug detox places. So I didn't qualify for that, so I had to make myself qualify so that I could get some help. So with detox, you're supposed to cut down half a pill per week. So I did 3 pills off the bat, so my detox is 5 times more. So that's why they get so intense and are really, really hard. But because there's just so many pills for me to come off of, for me to spend 6 months doing it doesn't work for me. So I'm doing it much faster, but now I have to do it, just winging it. So all these months that I keep detoxing off everything alone and going into shock and having no meds to fill in the gap. They have meds for like withdrawal and stuff to make it not so severe, but I can't get medical attention. I can't get a doctor. So it's just Jesus seeing me through. So times you get discouraged, and everyone going through F&D is dealing with this, and we get discouraged, but we're on our own, away from the medical community. We all know this already. Every single one of us have been saying this is the biggest complaint. There's not one person with F&D, not saying that we don't have anything. There's no medicine for it. There's no cure. There's no help. It's just waiting for years for a neurologist to be prescribed medicine, but by then you've had it for years, but you can't go to a hospital because they'll just keep sending you home because it's a neurological condition. So they say it's not an emergency. There's nothing we could do. So there's no medical help in the whole world for this, and it's one of the most serious diseases in the entire world. It's 16 diseases in one. It's 100% of every symptom of MS, of RA, of Parkinson's, of dementia, of autism, processing sensory disorder, being in your theta brain. The majority of the time we can't even think as an adult. you don't have access to the left side of your brain. You're on the right side of your brain, which is what kids use. And my mental and emotional capacity is not at an adult level since I got sick. You have a stroke, basically. Your stroke brain forgets everything, all adult related everything, and all you can remember is your childhood, but you spend the majority of your time unable to process things as an adult, feel them as an adult, have the emotional or mental capacity as an adult. You're just in this theta brain and these childlike thoughts and mentality and emotions, but trying to adult life in something so severe and so hard. And that's the desperation in everyone with FND, and that's the heart cry, and that's why everyone feels so hopeless and gets into depression, because there's not help for this. No doctors have heard about this. You can't even go see a regular neurologist. You could only get help from a specialized FND neurologist, and there's so few. And most people are having to travel to other cities to even go get that, and have huge medical expenses. Mine's an hour away, and you do have to go in person sometimes, and being in cars is excruciating, and we don't have the gas money, and you need a ride to get there, and it's really hard. And that's, in another year when that happens. So that's another reason to get off the pharmaceuticals, because nothing they're putting you on is correct. They're putting you on all different things that are conflicting, and different things that aren't even supposed to be paired together, that are proven to be very, very toxic for you. But you're doing it all without doctor's help. You're just so that's like another reason I get so upset with like the spam calls and everything, because I use my phone every day to educate myself, to research everything I can about this disease, about detox, about everything. We're doing it all without doctors. We have to detox ourselves, learn how to do it. Like, we're doing it 100%. I haven't seen a single neurologist or had the actual help I needed, not one day since getting sick, and I'm still a year out. And now not even doctors will see me, so I don't even know where to go to get a referral to get all my cysts removed and stuff, because I don't have a doctor. And they just cancel their appointments with me and refuse to see me, because they're like, we can't treat you. We don't know about this. So no doctor does. So we're literally on our own with one of the worst diseases in the whole world. It's literally 16 diseases in one. I mean, I didn't even list all the different diseases that it accompanies, but it's 16 different diseases in one, and it's all the worst. The MS, the RA, the Parkinson's, the dementia. You literally, it's like you had a stroke. You don't remember anything about being an adult, the regular adult stuff. You have to relearn how to be an adult again, relearn everything. How to have a relationship, how to be a parent. You were like wiped clean and then brought back to this theta brain that's a child's brain, but you're doing all these like really serious stuff. So it's really hard just doing it alone without medical help. And I go into shock horribly every single time I detox, because and you're not supposed to even detox without medical supervision, but I have no doctors, but I don't know, so I'm just gonna keep doing some research. I'm not going down by half a pill and dragging it out 6 months. That's insane to me. So my first jump was 25% down instead of the 5% decreases you're supposed to do. But go big or go home. But that's why my detoxes are absolutely from hell. And this drug alone will be so many different detoxes. It's not one and done. It's every single decrease is a whole nother detox for those, 10 days of agonizing hell that you could barely cope to be alive. And then day 10 to 14 is still absolutely really, really, really hard and bad, but it's not as bad as day 1 to 10. So you're just nonstop being plummeted into all the worst symptoms of withdrawal, the hallucinating, the hearing voices, the puking, the diarrhea, the chills, the everything, the muscle spasms, the suffocation, the not breathing. Like, you just keep putting your body in shock. So detox is so hard. Today was a really, really hard day, because anytime you get any spike of emotion, good or bad, it just starts flaring you out into symptoms. So between Dante's court stuff, between the sexual harassment stuff, between every single night when I'm sitting there just trying to research for my disease and get better in recovery and detox, my phone's just ring, 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 ring. I could barely get through a message, and that frustration and anxiety when I'm just trying to read to help myself. And it's not all the time I could read. It's not all the time I could even... I'm illiterate on and off. Sometimes I look at words, it looks like a different language. I can't understand what the words mean. If I can read them, I don't know what the words mean. It's very rare that I have that clarity, and a lot of times I find it in the evening, and I have to be in that adult part of me that it comes and it goes, and it's not there way often, way. It's mostly the theta brain and that kid brain since the day I got sick. So when I have these times that it's just adult brain and functioning normal, and I could do research, and then I could barely read a single article because I'm just being spam called over and over and over by all these men watching my videos, and they'll call 10 times in a row, and I've been blocking multiples, and then it's just other ones pop up. And it's already so hard to read. And it's not that it's just so hard to read, to then remember what the words mean, to then piece them together in my head, and to understand what I'm reading. It's really hard cognitively. This disease affects your brain as much as it does your body. So you're just working with this brain that has no neurotransmitters to the left side. You can only access the right side, and they're all new neurotransmitters. But once you rebuild, it doesn't stay. You have to keep rebuilding over and over and over, because they just keep leaving, because they're just firing at will. So it's just really hard trying to get through a whole entire medical treatment of the worst disease of your whole life with no doctor's helps and no doctors willing to help. And it's really discouraging. And it's like, if I didn't have Jesus, I don't know how I would do this. And I'm just keep saying, like, Jesus, you're my doctor, and I just have to do it with him. But to try to detox yourself off of all these meds, and then you don't even have doctors to detox you or put you on the stuff to help through the detox, so you're able to breathe and your heart's not stopping and you're not going into shock. Like, it's supposed to be heavily supervised under medical attention getting off these, but then the doctors just drop you on all these meds, still sick, and now you gotta figure it out completely alone while not having a functioning brain. And my videos, sometimes I'm peaceful and calm, and sometimes I'm frantic and erratic, and I go in between feeling like a teenager or a young kid, autism, Down syndrome, illiteracy, forgetting words, dropping thoughts, the dementia, And the withdrawal itself, just the anger, the rage, the side effects of that are insane. And I'm in a constant state of detox now for months, and I still have another 3 months to go. So spending 6 months of your life in detox, that you're like shoom shoom, and I was so heavily medicated, I was just covered in hives. And once I went to remission, being on the same amount of the 20 pills I was on for when I had my illness, they went straight to my brain, and all of a sudden I started feeling crazy. I couldn't control my emotions, my bursting out of tears, my rage, my anger. I didn't have any of that when I was sick. Those are all signs of the detox, and these seizures now constantly, they're from the detox, and everything now happening is from the detox, because I'm 100% remission, and before I went off my meds, all the signs were gone. But because of the amount of pain the detox is putting you in every level, now it keeps flaring up. All that pain that's making your neurotransmitters now go wild. And that's why I get really, really harsh on calling guys out now on posting their sexual messages, because not only am I an evangelist, I'm also in a committed relationship, and I'm detoxing nonstop off of some of the hardest things in the world to ever detox from, that literally should be done in facilities and under hardcore medical treatment. And I keep 2 EpiPens on my nightstand, because at any moment my heart could just stop. And even when you go and you're having this and you're on an EKG in the hospital, it's like shooting through the roof, and they're like, yeah, it's really high, but it's regular emergency room high. But you're going through that at home. All your organs are spazzing out. It's changing your blood pressure, so it's jumping and dropping. And then you're supposed to take them every 4 hours to keep on track for detox, but your body keeps shutting down. So there's days I'll sleep 8 hours, 10 hours. Sometimes I sleep 2 hours straight. And when I have the narcolepsy, another full-fledged thing with this, Tourette's, narcolepsy, seizures, everything. It's every disease in one, because every single nerve in your body is not being controlled by your brain. It's your body's peripheral nervous system. It controls everything. Your senses, your brain, how you think. Now you have no neurotransmitters, the whole left side of your brain. You could only use the right side of your brain. That's the subconscious and the theta brain, which is what kids use. So I'm trying to be an evangelist, trying to be a mom, trying to get through the court stuff with my son, trying to detox. He starts school in September. I need to be of clear mind, because I'm going to be up at that school and doing things on bullying and trying to tie the police into bullying. And I want to pass a law about bullying, because it's gotten so bad. There needs to be harsher punishments other than rewarding the kids with being suspended and home for a day, right? And they come back and do it more, and it never ends. But the bullying's gotten so horrific. So I'm going to be up at that school all the time and doing stuff in the community. But all of this, I need to be off the drugs, because they make my mind so unclear, my emotions just all over the place. And I don't have panic attacks and anxiety and anxiousness. I was very calm, cool, collected, very successful. I ran meetings. I was very, very mature. And to now be operating out of the brain of a child while navigating through an adult world, dealing with adult issues. So that's another reason sexual harassment right now really, really bothers me, because any spur in a moment I start getting seizures and stuff. And even in my videos, when I start talking about it and I have to end early, I start not being able to speak and going into seizures, because emotionally it really disturbs me. So I know some of my videos are really crude and inappropriate and don't sound like what an evangelist would say, but the thing about evangelists we're in the world. We're not talking to the Christians. We're talking to the people of the world, the unsaved world. And if you go into another country and they speak Spanish, you speak Spanish or you have a translator. So I'm speaking to the world as someone who is in the world unsaved for 37 years. I got saved a year, but when I'm approaching the world and worldly issues, I'm going to do it as a worldly woman with God's grace and whatever. But there's going to be my human emotion. There's going to be the emotion of someone going through detox, the emotion of someone who's incredibly sick, who's in bed 90% of every day for a year now and still be in bed 90% of the day for another year. All my energy literally just goes to my walks, but I have to rebuild every muscle in my body, every tendon, every ligament. That just standing, the pain is excruciating. So as I'm walking to the lake, it's not this peaceful stroll. I am in so much pain in every single speck of my whole body. When you go a year in bed and then you're walking, everything hurts. And then when you're in detox, everything hurts 10 times more. So my pain levels and emotionally and mentally what I'm going through to then keep getting calls and calls and calls when I'm trying my best to just keep my emotions calm and read to learn to treat myself without any doctors. You know, I don't even know what medicine for FND I should be on that can help. I don't know what I can be on while I get through recovery that's non-addictive, that's not habit forming, that I won't have to detox from, that could help me get through these withdrawals. There's not even a doctor I could go to get anything, you know. So I'll be working with Flacra starting July 31st. But I was going to go inpatient, and I don't know if, I mean, on one hand, I can't be alone at all. But on the other hand, you know, I know God will see me through. And I did multi-detoxes alone before Adam. A couple of them, he sat with me the whole time. But when you go into the hallucinations and hearing voices and this, that, you get bedridden. When you're going through detox, you're pissing yourself, you're shitting yourself, you lose all abilities. So when I'm walking to the lake and at any single second I could have a seizure, I could fall. I do have seizures out. People have had to stop and wait with me, stop and get me home. At any single second I could get into the Tourette's so bad I can't speak, and I'm walking home, you know, loud with Tourette's, or my legs literally will just drop and not work at all, so I can't even use my walker. And to be going through all this and just trying to recover, and then just the nonstop interruptions on top of that with everything else I'm dealing with is a lot. And Adam was out of work for months and months and months taking care of me, and he just went back to work on Tuesday. Now he's working overtime, so he's gone like all the time. So it's like now I have to get through the recovery without my biggest support and 100% alone. No doctors, not, you know, with my partner being here. Yeah, I mean, so that's partly why I feel like I have to go into the residential place, because what happens next when you drop down these next pills is 10 times worse than the first 3. Going from 3 to 6, you're literally in shock the whole time, and that's not like anything like this. There will be no speaking, there will be no leaving bed. Those you disassociate for hours on end, you don't sleep, you just sit there whimpering and crying and in the worst pain of your entire life, and seizures and convulsing and vomiting and just literally nonstop, just pissing and shitting, and sometimes it's in your pants, and sometimes you get the bathroom, and sometimes you can't stand at all. and the only way you could go to the bathroom for the majority of my sickness has been I have to be brought to the bathroom. So as I detox and I'm alone, I end up holding my bladder, sometimes for days on end, and now I have all these bladder and intestinal issues that I'll need stuff done for that, and still all the cysts removed, so that's gonna be a lot of minor surgeries through my whole cysts and then the realignment. So to be in this level of pain, it does make me at times speak very vulgar, with a lot of hostility. Before I got sick, I was very, very soft-spoken and kind and sweet and cool, calm, collected at all times. There was never a time someone could see me upset or mad or crying or anything. I was just very well balanced and mature. So now to have none of that ability, but still living the adult life, still facing court alone, the truth is, with these charges, we're either getting fines, which I have no money, probation, or juvie. And it literally is up to the judge, which he does. And this family wants to see charges brought against him. So on Tuesday, I have no idea the outcome. So I'm keep trying to process that. I have to process the fact that an adult man hit my child during this fight. And I have to process that everything the son did to my son wasn't caught on camera, because they weren't where the camera was when his son stomped out my son's ankle or elbowed him as hard as he could as hard as he could in his ribs, and it wasn't on camera when the dad hit my son. So we're going to court, and the only thing it says is 3rd-degree assault from my son, and it just looks completely different than it is. But I'm going in there just Jesus in me. And the thing with the cops I'm pleading guilty to, because my son was so upset and riled up. He has explosive intermediate disorder. It's a disability. He's had it his whole life. And he is in constant flare-up over that, shaking, trembling, crying, getting insomnia, franticness, and just dealing with a lot. This year alone, he had to lose his kittens. He had to lose his kickboxing while he was already assigned to be doing tournaments, and he was going to Rochester to these special gyms and got hired as a professional fighter to start, competing. And he worked for years and years and years, going almost every single day to kickboxing and taekwondo for years. He goes to 5 classes a week. And now he's looking to join taekwondo, which is $160 a month, so we have to come up with that. But then he was in soccer for years, and that was his other creative outlet. And because of this fight, after being bullied all night, now he can't play soccer, and he might not be allowed to be on the soccer team again permanently. They could get him banned, which the coach already hinted to me that he thinks that's what the dad is doing. So he lost that. He lost his mom. I didn't recognize my son half the time. I was calling him my little brother's name. Half the time I was sick, I would forget his face. He had to do so much help with cooking and cleaning, and he went through so much this year. And on top of all that, when I got so sick, there was a point that it got so bad for me that he had to go move in with my dad, and he had only met my dad once ever, and my dad lived in Idaho, so he had to get shipped 16 hours away, to all of a sudden find out, I'm living somewhere else with a whole new family, losing grandma I saw every day of my life, and mom who raised me alone her whole life, and my sister and everything. And get thrown into that. And then once he got there, my sickness wasn't getting better, and it looked like I had these other surgeries. And at one point I was told I would need a whole hysterectomy, which with my condition and the bed rest and the recovery, it would have set me back like 6 or 8 months. I would have been in bed, unable to step foot out of bed for a very long time. So to protect my son, I sacrificed, and I had my Abraham moment and let him move out of state, and I can't travel at all. And I would have only been seeing him like once a year, and it devastated my soul. So he had to go through that, and all sorts of stuff. We rented this beautiful house. He had a backyard with a trampoline, everything, tons and tons of space. And then we got evicted from our house this year. We went from having so much financial stability to being the poorest we've been in our life, to literally have an empty fridge, empty freezer, only get milk half the month, and he could barely get, the right nutrition. We're eating at food pantries and food drop-offs, and just to sustain like we have for a year. So he also went from only eating fish and produce, that's all we ever ate, and fresh squeezed juice. And I'm a chef. Well, I was a chef, a professional chef, as at a 4-star golf resort as a sous chef, and then about to be the executive chef there. So his whole life I've cooked home-cooked meals every day of his life, and then I couldn't cook anymore, and my kids have never eaten frozen food, canned food, stuff like that ever. And now he's eating all this stuff that he's never had in his whole life, that he hates, and everything he's ever had was made from scratch. So now when you try to eat a can of soup or something, and you've never had taste buds for that your whole life, it just makes you sick. And even me, when I try eating a can of soup, like, we've never eaten like this. So it's hard. And throughout all of this, he's still just such a man of honor and so much love and compassion. And he has more chores than most kids because I'm so unhealthy, and now Adam has to work so much to take care of the 3 of us because I have 0 income, and I won't get my disability for like 6 months kicking in. And even when I do, it's only $1,000 a month, and I'm never working again, So it's like Dante went through so much. So when this happened with soccer, it was devastating to me. And it was devastating, and I wasn't able to go to that game, and he asked me to go. So then I had that mom guilt, like I should have been there. And he was already playing all alone. It sucks for a kid to have to go to his games all alone. And for a year now, his coach has been taking him to all his games, and I haven't been able to go because of my sickness. I've only been able to go to 1 game, and now when school starts, he'll be doing wrestling, and once we get him into Taekwondo, he's going to be doing that. And I need to have my health up so I could go and be supportive and watch his fighting and do these things with him. And he was so good at Taekwondo too, and kickboxing, that they literally chose him out of the whole class to go be a professional fighter. And even the karate teacher would bring him all the way to Rochester to go compete, against people that have been doing it their whole lives. And Dante was keeping up with 2 years experience, or people that train for this their whole lives, that they were like professionals in the field. He's like super, super gifted, and he's just been through so much. So when things happen, my emotions are out of control. So dealing with that, with the detox when I don't have the right emotional capacity, has been a lot. But that's why I'm trying to detox. And the second I found out about court, I'm like, I cannot go there on pharmaceuticals because my emotions and my mind aren't right. So when he has court on Tuesday, I'll be 100% out of detox from this 25% decrease I just did on my pills. So by then I'll have a lot more stability and mental clarity. when I get down to 6, I'm even way, way, way better off. But at least if I didn't get from the 9 to the, if I didn't get from the 12 to the 9, I could barely speak in court. I was so clouded and the side effects were so bad, right? So now I'll be in recovery from that and able to go there without having seizures and the Tourette's and actually be able to speak. And I keep going over and over in my head what to say, and then I keep telling myself, like, Ash, you gotta let God take it. So we're gonna plead guilty for the thing with the cops because, one, he was inappropriate to the cops because he was so upset and so worked up, so he was yelling and, feisty in the cop car. But I love and respect every single officer in Geneva, and so does Dante. He was just in a complete flare-up, and one of his disability explosive things after being bullied a whole game and then getting into a fight with a kid and hit by an adult man, and he was there 100% alone. He didn't have a single friend there, single family member, nothing. And so at least once, like right now, for the next 4 days, that's when my detox ends from this round. So I'll be like set. So I can't start another detox till after court until I find out exactly what's going on and everything and have that information. Then I could start my next round of detox. But while in detox, I can't, do much. I'm just, but I'll be good for court because I'll be out of all the withdrawal from this round. But I have another, lots of detox 2 weeks times from this. So I'm timing it all around what works for my family. And I'm just hoping on the 31st to go inpatient for 2 weeks, because getting from 9 to 6 is so dangerous doing it alone. You're literally in shock the whole time. You don't know where you are. You don't know what's real, what's fake. You can't get up and go to the bathroom. You don't eat. It's so bad. It's so much worse than anything, even like the disease. And because of my disease, when I go through detox, it affects me way normal than anyone else going through detox that didn't have this. And every time I lower my pills, my body has to fight to gain control, so my pain levels go through the roof. So I'll be in tons and tons of pain again every single day throughout the whole year of recovery while rebuilding my whole body and muscles and everything with no meds and nothing for pain at all. Because the longer you're on them, you have to just keep detoxing. And I don't want, another year to go by and me have to still have all the effects, all the side effects of the pharmaceuticals that make me not me. And then I would have to, it's just a lot. So I'm definitely inappropriate at times. I'm not going to stop doing videos because I'm going to be detoxing for a long time. But everyone on these is going to be detoxing for a long time. It's not one and done. You know what I mean? At least street drugs, it's one and done. With these, it's series. So this is 4 complete detoxes, but it would be 4 detoxes if I did it once. This is already like my 5th detox of just this drug. And now I have another 4 times. So it's, 9 times freaking 2, that's 18 weeks of literally being incoherent in the worst pain, suffering, scream with seizures. I mean, detox looks horrible. It's horrible. And it's horrible for everyone around you to watch. So I'm trying to remove myself from home to do the next round. And then once I do the next round, I'll still be on 6, but that's all your body could do, because I'll be literally in shock the whole time. And when I get out of detox, I'll still I'll be in bed probably more than 90% of the time. It'll just be to leave bed and do my walks, but they'll get a lot shorter for a while. Because it's going to take my body a long time to get used to not being on these meds. I was on the absolute highest dosage ever allowed. And these are typically meant for 2 to 3 weeks. I've been on them for over a year now. And still will have to be taking them, for until I'm fully off. And the thing is, every day you're in bed, it takes 2.5 days to recover. So I'm already 2.5 years into recovering from that first year, but as I recover, I'm still in bed 90% of the time. So it's still adding on years. So just to get back to exactly the normal health I was at a year ago, it's like a 3-year journey. Not to be in shape, not to look like I go to the gym, but just to have regular body mass. So people have breaking points. Even as an evangelist, even loving Jesus, when you're going through so much and there's all this stuff piled on top of it, and you can't even use your own phone to just do research, and all you're trying to do is read, and it's so hard to understand. It's so hard to understand what you're reading. That any distraction, there's times that all these calls keep coming in, and then my emotions go up and it triggers seizures and stuff, and I can't do any research that night. So it's greatly affecting my health, the sexual harassment and the nonstop messages, and I can't use Messenger. Like, my daughter only has Messenger. That's the only way I communicate through her. So anytime I log on to see her, it's like boom, and people calling, or I log on to my lives and people keep calling me during them, and I have no attention span anymore. And I love that song, like, I'm just a nobody trying to tell everybody about a somebody that saved my life. And all I'm trying to do is show the world what Jesus did for me, and the miracles, and how real he is, and how everyone with chronic illness could be healed. And my messages now are 90% for those with chronic illness and those that need healing, and those with FND. I have a ton of people, over 500 people with FND that are on my friends list. So I have to take all this time away from focusing on what I should be, just to address things in the world. And I want to be talking about Jesus and FND and recovery, not ranting over and over about perverts and this and that. Like, that's not how I want to spend my time or my energy. And it also affects me greatly. I'm very, very sick, and it's not just cognitively, it's physically. I go in and out of autism and Down syndrome and my theta brain, and times I can't speak, and times I have Tourette's the whole day. And there's never a full day since the day I got sick that I could talk all day. And times I speak so slow, I sound like I have Down syndrome, and you could barely make out my words. So it's really hard in my health to find the time to do anything physical and all the research to completely get through all my healing, treating myself as my own doctor. So in the past, I dealt with the sexual harassment and just the nonsense way better. But now, the emotional state I'm in, I don't have that ability, and there's times I feel like I'm literally a child, and I have that mentality and emotion, and it's like, being a little kid trying to navigate through the adult world, and I had to relearn everything. It's like you have a stroke, you forget everything. The majority of my adult life never came back to me. I don't remember anything. I had to relearn what it is to be in a relationship, how to be a parent, how to speak, etiquette, like everything. And I still have to relearn it because it keeps dropping from my head. You have to relearn every day how to read, how to write. There's times I look at words that looks like a different language, and I can't interpret words, or even if I know they're English, I don't know what they mean. And I have 164 IQ. I was very smart, so to go from that, and every day I'm relearning how to cook. I had a culinary arts degree. I was about to be an executive chef. Like, we were catering for 600 people a day. I was running the kitchen. I have, a culinary arts and hotel restaurant management degree. I was incredibly good at it. And now I have to relearn how to cook every day. And not only that, but we're living on $530 a month of food without a single dollar left extra. So everything I'm cooking has to be dirt cheap, and we can't buy any fresh produce. We can't buy any of the nutritional stuff or a single thing we've ever eaten. So we're also eating, stuff that I'm trying to make the best of. But, we eat a lot of rice soup. We get bags of rice from the pantry. And I get a thing of chicken bouillon, and I just boil rice in it, make it a little mushy. Sometimes we'll put boiled eggs in it. I season it. If I have fresh herbs, I throw those in and some lemon. But we don't eat nutritious. It's a lot of ramen and a lot of carbs, and I can't eat carbs. I eat, once a week, once every 7 to 10 days. The only reason I'm not thin is because I'm in bed 90% of the time, so I don't burn a single calorie. So even if I eat, 500 calories a week, that 500 calories is just sitting in me. And so when I'm harsh on the world, it's hard talking to people when you're so sick and in recovery and detoxing and operating on the right side of your brain. So now I have to relearn how to be an adult, relearn emotional and mental maturity. I have to go from operating out of my child's brain to reteaching it how to be an adult, how to function in society, how to be responsible, everything. I can't barely book my own medical appointments because I get so confused. And I was running meetings with cost analysts, with directors, with the engineers, and I always had high positions and running meetings with groups and groups of people, and I'm not who I was. And on top of all of that, I have to deal with losing 99% of everyone in my entire life that watched us go homeless, watched us this entire time, having no food, no nutrition. Our fridge broke, so we have literally no food in our fridge because everything we had to get thrown out. And we just got a brand new fridge, but our fridge was broken since we got in here. So then we ran out of food really fast because we couldn't refrigerate anything, so we'd have to just get things in town at like the bodegas, which was 10 times more expensive. So we're dealing with like a lot of poverty and trying to just keep food in the house and keep our bills paid. And I have zero income, and Adam just started work on Tuesday, and now has to do all this overtime and stuff. And I also need a lot of help at home, and there's just all sorts of things I can't even navigate to. I'm supposed to be having a nurse come in, and I can't even figure out how to get her signed up the right way, but I already have the person ready. I already have the approval for it, and I can't even get my home health aide, and my nurse hours are supposed to get doubled. I need a doctor's note, but I have no doctor's note. One doctor's note and my hours all get doubled. They start you at the lowest thing possible at 12 hours, but I'm supposed to have full time. But they said once you start 12, you gotta do that a couple months and then you can reapply, and I haven't been able to reapply this whole time, and I still haven't. And I still don't know how, because my appointment today was to do that, but none of the doctors will see me. So I have another appointment with a doctor, and he already said, meet with your neurologist. I don't even know if he's going to meet with me or give me a letter or anything. But without increasing my home health aide and nurse hours to double, that becomes a huge, huge, huge hardship of recovery, because I could only get out of bed with my walker, and my energy is so limited. And it's not that a normal person when they're like, all right, you're low on energy, do it tired. Yeah, I did that my whole life. I worked 7 days a week. I worked multiple jobs as a single mom with 2 kids. It's not about do it when you're tired. With this disorder, you shut off. There's not do it tired. Literally, you just get narcolepsy and your body shuts off. It stops working. If you're doing anything physical and you try, literally your legs, your whole body, boom, you fall like a sack of potatoes and you can't use any of your body and can't get out of bed. You can't actually do things tired because your brain will just stop. It will shut off and you'll just go out cold. And it could be for 5 hours, 10 hours, 2 days. So you can't push yourself when you're tired because your body shuts off. There is no pushing yourself. It just stops working. And if you don't take lots of naps and have tons of rest, you literally just spend all your time in back-to-back seizures that you can't get out of. You know? And even though I smile and I do my videos, even if I had no disease at all, the amount of pain someone would be in from a year of bed rest, what it does to your body, just trying to stand, the pain is excruciating. So the whole time I'm walking, I'm in a horrible, horrible, horrible amount of pain. My whole spine, my neck, I could barely hold myself up. I'm shaking. It feels like my ankles and knees are broken, shattered, my hips, I'm walking out of alignment. And then I'm just trying to focus on the word. And I'm doing it in pain. And then just getting nonstop calls throughout it, bothering me, messages popping up in the background bothering me. And it's really hard for me to focus already. I have no attention span anymore. And even when I'm home, it's not like I could just do arts and crafts, this or that. I could work at like 15-minute intervals. Like, even to get through one load of laundry, I have to go back like 6 times, take things out one by one, hang them. Like, it takes a lot of time to get through one single load of wash or one single load of dishes. And in between each thing, I can't just be like, all right, I'm going to do an hour cleaning. It's impossible. I could do 10 to 15-minute intervals, but then I have to sit down for like an hour or 2 hours and go back. Even making dinner, it takes all day. I have to do it in sessions because there's not doing it tired. You just shut off. You'll start having narcolepsy, you'll start fainting. All of a sudden your mind will literally stop working, that you disassociate so bad that you're incapable of doing anything. There's times like you won't recognize where you are. I've woken up in my room and you think you're in the bathroom, or you walk in the bathroom and all of a sudden you're standing in your living room. You have no idea how you got there because your mind just shuts off. But this disease affects your brain as much as it does your body. So people just see my body on the walker, but they think my brain is fine. And I could be talking 1 second and the next second be completely autistic and unable to process anything anyone's saying or doing. So even getting through the videos, it's some of the very few times I could talk throughout the whole day. And even if I was interacting, I couldn't talk for an hour interacting, because once I have to listen, for me to listen to someone speaking to me, for me to process their words and what they mean, and then as they're speaking, I'm forgetting what they're saying. So by the time they get to like the end of the sentence, I might not have any idea. So even conversation is very, very, very hard. Talking just out loud to yourself, whatever, I do that on and off camera. But if I was to engage, I couldn't talk to someone for an hour ever. Not once since I got sick, not still now. I wouldn't know what they're saying. I'd be forgetting. I couldn't answer the questions, or, I'd leave the conversation and be like, I don't know what happened there, They have to be just short conversations to the point. Like, if somebody uses too many words, my brain trails off and I don't know what they're saying. It's like, in a lot of ways, you have to treat yourself as a baby, like, just so for me to understand people, they have to talk slow and quiet. If they talk too fast, boom, my brain just doesn't decode any word and I go blank. If they talk too loud, if they have too high pitch of a voice, a million things. I couldn't even understand someone speaking to me, And I can't be in public at all. I could be outside only or in church. So I'm going to be in public for the first time ever on August 22nd. So there's two bands that are my favorite two bands in the whole world, and it's Sublime and the Bouncing Souls. And no one from upstate knows about the Bouncing Souls. It was a Long Island band. They were out of Jersey. So when you're on Long Island, you're always in Jersey, Long Island, and New York City. That's just like the grounds you cover, anyone in that area. So they're always in that area, and they've never, ever, ever come up here. So, Bradley, the singer of Sublime, he's passed on and everything. So it's a cover band, but it's still all the Sublime song tattoos. And I have a, wait, let me see if you can see it. I'm going to show you guys. Can you see it? Yeah. So I have the Sublime sun tattooed on me, and I also have the Bouncing Souls logo tattooed on me. So the Bouncing Souls and Sublime are coming to Canandaigua, which is 20 minutes away. So I freaked out. Literally my favorite band in the whole planet is Bouncing Souls, and my whole teenage years I'd go to all their shows. All my friends were singers and in bands, and we were either in recording studios or we were at shows. And and they've never, ever, ever come upstate. I've always checked for the Bouncing Souls coming upstate, and this is like the first time ever since I moved up here. I've got to meet the singer and spend time with him, and I was friends with his manager, and just like, I can't even, I saw that, I couldn't breathe, and I was like, and it's on my stepdad's birthday, and last October 22nd, I went to Florida October 21st, and October 22nd was the very first rip open of my disease. That was the first day that it hit me, that all of a sudden I started pouring sweat, dizzy, fatigue. It was like, boom. And then by the time I got back, by September 19th, I was fired and paralyzed and couldn't stand, walk, nothing. But it started about a week I got back, from that day. So it's kind of amazing that now God, like 1 year later, has me watching my favorite band in the whole world. And the reason I could go to this, one, it's outside, and two, because I listen to these bands every day of my whole life, my whole childhood, everything. Like, it's so nostalgic, and it's gonna go perfect with my theta brain and my subconscious brain, which is all on the right side. So I'm going, and my mom's getting me tickets for it because she knows it's like, my very first tattoo was the Sublime Sun, and my next tattoo was the Bouncing Souls tattoo. And then my third favorite band is called Social Distortion. So if they ever come up, I'll be at that. So it's interesting. You know what I mean? I'm definitely going in the mosh pit. I've never gone to a show in my life. I used to go to punk shows, every punk show ever. That's all I did my whole childhood before I was a mom. And so I'm definitely going in the pit, because at this point, one, no pain is worse than what I experienced. Two, you can't be at a show and not in the pit. You know, I usually crowd surf and go in the pit, and there's nothing more in this world I love than punk shows. So I'm gonna plan it that whole day I don't take any of my meds, so I save them all for the show so that I could be standing, because you don't sit, you know what I mean. So I can't wait. It's gonna be one of the best days of my life. I told Amber, see if you and your boyfriend could get tickets and meet us there, and my mom's getting a ticket for her and I, and she's never heard the Souls, but she loves Sublime, and she's heard me talk about the Souls forever. So, and I've been putting on the Souls a lot since I got sick, because like I said, you're more in your subconscious and theta brain. So now on the right side of your brain, I'm doing a lot more things I did as a kid and my teenage years and all. And my adult memories are gone. It's like all that stroke symptoms, it's erased my adult brain. I don't remember much about being an adult, but everything from my kid brain is subconscious. It's like I can see every waking moment of my childhood as if it happened yesterday, but I can't see much of my adult life, which is probably good, because my adult life sucked. my childhood was iffy, but my teenage years were pretty awesome. So, I just can't believe I'm going. I'm gonna ask my brother if he wants to go. He'll probably, oh crap. Well, it's Friday at 7. Oh yeah, he could go. And he's only like 30 minutes from there. Yeah, it's a huge possibility that he'll go. It's like, I think 75% he'll go. And then I invited my friend River and my friend Julia. So I just can't wait. And it was like great because I was having such a rough day and such a rough night and just really, really, really going through it really bad. And then all of a sudden I saw that and I was like, thank you, Jesus, you know. So God is so good. So I start at the food drive today. That's at 9. I'm hoping I'd be able to fall asleep, but I don't know. It might happen, it might not. At this point, like, the sunrise is soon, and to fall asleep for an hour, I don't know. It's honestly gonna be what my body says, too. Alright. I'm gonna go. Maybe I'll be back. I don't know.